Welcome to episode 2 of The Future of Money. Today I will be here with Britta Wilson, founder and owner of Iron Violets. I want to interview her, talk to her a little bit about how she has been surviving in spite of the pandemic, and ask if she's got a little bit of advice here for other business owners. So thanks for joining me, and we'll be talking to her in a moment here. So welcome everyone to episode 2 of The Future of Money. I'm here with Britta Wilson, founder and owner of Iron Violets. How are you doing today, Britta?
I'm good. How are you?
Not too bad. So thanks for joining us here today. I see you've got coffee in hand. I just drank way too much coffee myself.
It's standard operating procedure.
Exactly. Very important.
Yeah.
So before we get started here, a little background on my connection with Britta. So I used to work at Linder's Nursery, a local nursery here in town, and we worked together there. And Britta also did the flowers for my wedding. Fabulous job. So if you live in the St. Paul, Minneapolis area, you're looking for a great florist, highly recommend Britta. So Britta, I just wanted to start a little bit today. Could you tell viewers about your business?
So Iron Violets Design Studio is a private studio, which means we operate out of my home, my basement, which I'm standing in right now. And all my orders come in either over the phone or off of my website. So I have full control over my website. I don't use any of the wire services or anything like that. The designs are all mine, which gives me a lot of creative control, and I'm able to give the customers what they paid for, and they know what they're getting. And I've been able to build a really strong bond with a lot of my customers and build a high degree of trust, which has been awesome.
Awesome. So tell me a little bit, what was the inspiration for the name Iron Violets?
That was actually my husband's idea back before I had the studio, and I was just doing weddings and things for friends and family. We decided to stop doing it as a side hustle and make it more of a legitimate business. And he's a metal craftsman.
Nice.
And a metal worker. And so the idea was that under that name, we could sell both flowers and his metal art. That passion for him kind of died away. He moved on to other creative things. And when the flower stuff really started to take off, he just said, go ahead. So it's it's a sole proprietorship now instead of a partnership, which is what it started out as. But he's still heavily involved in the business as far as he's my logistical person. He's my delivery person. He built me a cooler. He fixes anything that needs fixed. He's moral and emotional support, which I need from time to time.
What's needed in these times, especially.
Yeah. So he's still involved, just not a business partner on that end right now anymore. And then my daughter's name is Violet. So the Violet part came from my daughter. My daughter's name is Violet. She was named after my grandmother Viola, and so we call her Vi. And my grandma Viola was an artist. She painted beautiful landscapes and flowers, and she was an avid gardener. So I think I got a little bit of that talent from her.
Nice. I love the inspiration.
Thanks.
And
I get a lot of compliments on it. Some people order and they're like, "I'm ordering for you because I love your name." That's great. That's how I got you. Now
that's kind of a good name.
How to keep you. Let's do a good job and make sure that you come back as a customer.
So what types of orders do you do? Is it more personal, business?
Right. So the business stuff has dropped off significantly right now with the pandemic, with COVID-19. Yeah. I did have some standing orders. Oops.
Oh, just lost your video.
No, okay. I know. That's because I was getting a call. It might be a customer. And they can leave them. The business orders dropped off. I had some standing orders that canceled because the offices were closing, of course. And so right now, there is very little to no wedding work. So it is almost 100% right now birthdays, anniversaries, thank yous, thinking of yous, get wells, and a lot of orders where the occasion just says just because, and the messages are things like, I miss you, I can't wait to see you again, I know you're having a hard day today, I hope this cheers you up, that kind of thing.
That's awesome. So
Yeah.
I'm really glad you still have business in spite of the pandemic.
Yeah.
I
Me
know it's
too.
been really challenging for a lot of business owners in town right now.
Absolutely. And we didn't know how that was going to go.
Yep.
At the beginning, my husband and I disagreed about what I should do. We didn't know if it was safe for me to continue delivering. We didn't know if we were asymptomatic and had contact with the product, and then the product went to the customer's door, is that going to transfer? And luckily, the studies right now are saying that it doesn't stay on stuff the way they initially thought it would. So we feel very secure in that.
Good.
And the governor granted us an exemption to do no contact delivery and pickup right at the beginning. And so people really flocked to us in a way that I was not expecting, to be able to connect with people that they were separated from, and sometimes just separated from, by a wall, not being able to have contact. It's not necessarily across the country anymore. It's down the street.
I think it's really impacted people. I just, doing Zoom calls like this is a really great way to connect with people, but there's just something about the in-person contact.
Yeah.
That has disappeared. It's not the same. It's
No.
good. It's great, but it's not the same. So like you're saying, like having a way to connect with people, and if flowers is a great way of doing that, just to say, I'm still, I still care about you. I still, I want to make sure you're doing all right. That's cool.
Yeah.
So another question I wanted to ask you, for any other business owners who are watching this, if you'd have any advice for them, obviously we've all had to shift our business. I do real estate. I had to dramatically shift how I do business.
Exactly. Much of that is it's trust. When you're going to trust someone with the biggest transaction of your life, you have to have a face-to-face relationship with them. You have to build a rapport with them. So how do you do that now that you can't sit in the same room and shake hands and really be that honest face-to-face person? The best thing, and this was by accident, but for a retailer, it's your website. And I believe that your website is important, and I believe that for a long time. But right now, it's not just important; it's imperative. You have to have a user-friendly, a fast, reliable, well communicative website. Something that is easy to navigate. Something that, even though that is easy to navigate on a smartphone, on a tablet. And I was very fortunate to partner with the right company at the very beginning of my business to have that already set to go. And I know other shops and other studios that didn't invest in that a while ago, and they are scrambling to catch up, and they're scrambling to get to where I am lucky enough to be right now. So that's the number one thing. And the other thing too is communication. So now all of a sudden, if your customers are buying from you online, or they're relying on you to drop things at the door, no contact, or send things in the mail, how are you communicating all of that to them? Are you sending a photo of your product when it's being packed up so that they know that they get what they're paying for ahead of time? Are you sending a confirmation that with their delivery access number, if it's through the mail or through a driver, are you sending an approximate time to expect delivery? Are you following up with a phone call several days later to make sure that they're happy with what they got and that it wasn't inadvertently damaged somehow? All of these things, those little extra touches, are going to be what make you stand out over the competition when you can't actually, shake someone's hand and give them a hug and thank them for their business. This is how you have to do it now.
I think that's really good advice. It's just like, it's almost like I've heard the analogy that we've jumped forward in time 5 or 10 years technologically.
Yeah.
It's almost like we've had to become more digital. We've had to be more reliant on websites and the web.
Yeah. And the consumers have had to learn to trust. There's a lot of consumers that just inherently were distrustful of businesses that are operating that way and wanted to continue to do things the old-fashioned way. I've had elderly clientele, you know, that have called a lot recently and said, oh, I can't believe that you're still operating. Can I still order something for my daughter, for my granddaughter?
Mm-hmm.
And then I say yes, and we always send a photo of the finished product, like I had suggested, and we usually do that through email. And so I had one customer recently, and I said, you know, do you have access to email, or do you use email so I can send you a photo? Oh no, she says, I don't have that. And I said, okay, well, how about, is this your cell phone number? Can I text you a picture? Oh, I can't have text messages. And she goes, I think I'm going to have to get that fixed now, aren't I? And I said, well, that's up to you. You do what you're comfortable with. I said, but nowadays, if you're going to be ordering things like this and getting things delivered like this, then yeah, it'll be a big relief. You won't have to worry about it.
Yep.
And so we'll see how she goes with that.
But that helps, definitely. Yeah. So tell me, what are you putting together there in the foreground?
I have a delivery today in Uptown in Minneapolis.
Okay.
For a birthday for a business owner in that area from her daughter. So now this is a daughter that can't be here with mom because of COVID. Yep. And is now really, really worried about mom and mom's business. Aww. Because of the protests that are happening in that area. Yep. Mom loves roses, so we have some red roses and some orange roses here, some tulips, bright colors, green hydrangea.
I love that combination of color.
Good.
Splash of texture.
A little bit of green trick dianthus, which is really hardy, and it's going to last a really, really long time. This is lady's mantle or bupleurum for greenery.
Nice. So before I kind of wrap up here, I'm just going to walk to the front to show viewers my flower box. Yeah. So actually, in a little while here, Britta will be stopping by my home and doing a floral design in my flower box, kind of in front of my home. And you'll be able to see here that it's in dire need of it. One second, I'm just going to walk up there. It's in need of some help, so thank you.
I'm looking forward to it.
Well, Britta, thank you again for joining us here today on episode 2 of The Future of Money.
Happy to have you here.
And I look forward to seeing the final results here.
All right, we'll see you in a little bit then.
All right, thanks.
Okay, bye-bye.
Hi, Britta.
Hi.
So Britta has just completed the flower display in our front flower box, and I just want to show you how gorgeous this looks here. So Britta, can you tell us a little bit about your inspiration and kind of what plants you use?
So we have sweet potato vine and some coleus, a little bit of petunia, and this is new. I hadn't seen this before. It's called angel wings. I believe it's in the Dusty Miller family, but I haven't verified that yet. And really the biggest thing was a lot of texture. So we wanted to have like the variegation of the gold and the green here. Reed and Sonia had wanted some purple, and I thought that the rusty kind of orange color was a great, really earthy tone to add to it. So it kind of just pulled together nicely. A little bit of bright, a little bit of soft and leathery, all mixed into one.
Looks wonderful. Thank you.
No, thank you.
From the heart of Minnesota, stuck right here in quarantine, I will share financial wisdom, or at least I'll entertain. Yodelay-hee-hoo, 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 yodelay-hee-hoo.